Mi herencia hispana por Julián Sierra. ¿Cómo me identifico? Mis padres son mexicanos y yo soy mexicano-americano. Mi familia. En mi familia somos 4, mi hermanita Beatriz, mi mamá Luz Elena, mi papá José Julián y yo. Mi familia viene de Guanajuato y Jalisco. Mi mamá es nacida en Jalisco, México. Cuando ella llegó a Estados Unidos tenía 6. Ha estado aquí casi toda su vida. Mi papá nació en Guanajuato, México. Él llegó a Estados Unidos cuando tenía 18 años. Ya tiene casi la mitad de su vida aquí. Mi cultura hispana. Lo que me gusta más de ser hispano es la cultura. Mi familia es muy unida y tenemos muchas tradiciones. Combinamos tradiciones de México con las de Estados Unidos, como por ejemplo Navidad. Le rezamos al Niño Dios, pero también creemos en Santa Claus. Hacemos la comida que hacemos como tamales, pozole, etc. Valores. Desde muy pequeño nos enseñan a trabajar por lo que queremos. Nos enseñan a que tenemos que respetar a los demás y ser muy trabajadores. Siempre veo a mi familia que trabaja y ayuda a sí mismos. Mi familia en Mackinac Island, mis primos y mi tío en México. Esmeralda Santiago. Nació en San Juan, Puerto Rico en mayo 17 1948. Tiene 2 hijos. Ella murió a los 65 años de edad. Si estuviera viva hoy, tendría 72 años. Fue aceptada en New York Performance Art High School. Esmeralda es una poeta, editora y novelista. Publicó su primer libro en 1993 llamado When I Was Puerto Rican. Es dueña de una productora cinematográfica junto con su esposo Frank Carlton.
I'm proud of my future and I'm embracing my past.
Hi, my name is Brianna and today I'm going to be reading you my Hispanic Heritage poem that I have written for my project in Spanish class and what I have written for this Hispanic Heritage Month. So, let's read my poem. Okay. Starting off, being Mexican, Latino, Puerto Rican, Cuban, Afro-Latina, etc. in America is not easy. Being American, also being Latina, is pressure. It's like an either or. But being Latino, Puerto Rican, or Cuban should not be ignored. Seeing Hispanics fight for their rights and their lives bring me down even though I wasn't around. Being Hispanic is a journey. Coming to America was an opportunity to belong, to make a difference, to have equivalence among other races. Having a holiday where you can have pride, be part of the culture, celebrate without being afraid. Having a day where you don't have to explain. Seeing people get terrorized, which is something I can never visualize. For wanting to feel alive, for wanting to strive. Having strength without having any rights doesn't make a difference. Seeing people protest without no stress, just to fight for what's right. Only being able to speak English and not Spanish was hard enough without getting put in handcuffs. In my city, Detroit, we have a large population of Hispanics. We represent them. We have, next page, we have murals celebrating the Hispanic cultures and celebrations. Hispanics face, and to this day still face, challenges being in America, having a different race, being a part of a different culture, speaking a different language. is hard to manage, but still brings damage. Learning about Hispanics has truly inspired me. I admire their culture. I admire them watching them on TV when I was young, even though I didn't understand. I admire watching them learning about what makes an Hispanic in America now. So our last part is something that I wrote in Spanish, and I translated it like at the bottom, so I'm gonna read that also. Okay. Que los hispanos se sientan vivos para que puedan esperarse y estar orgullosos de lo que hicieron vidas para estar. And that means let Hispanics feel alive so that they can strive and be proud of what they made their lives to be. And that is the end of my Hispanic Heritage poem. I hope whoever viewed this enjoyed this poem, and that's it.
Ay, mi amor, you tell me that it's red. Ay, mi amor.
Be proud of your past, embrace your future. Mariano Vallejo put trust in America. He was betrayed and California was taken. He lived out a sentence, his power taken, but he still put trust into the U.S. men. Fast forward, and Cesar Chavez is fighting for rights. His fellow citizens and workers struggle. They start a march that lasts through the day and night. And with his boots, Cesar's walk was much harder. The march worked and they accomplished their goal, one more step toward equality. In California as well, Sal Castro wanted his students to do better. He wanted them to be proud of who they were, proud to be a Chicano. He organized a walkout for their education, walking out week after week together. No matter how dire their situation, they stood strong with each other.
Hello, my name is Emily De La Torre, and I wanted to present my project for Hispanic Heritage Month. I decided to do 3 of Loteria cards, which is a Mexican game. It's kind of like bingo, but a bit differently. And I decided to do 3 of my own cards, so the cards are always different, but I decided to get these for my own ideas. I chose El Paletero, El Puño, and La Celina. I chose El Paletero because there is always Hispanic guys selling ice cream, trying to make a living out of it, and I feel like it's really important, an important part of the culture, or as when it comes to Hispanics. I chose El Puño because Mexicans and Hispanics and Latinos deal with issues, but they're always fighting back towards them as a team all together. And I chose La Celina because she's actually a famous artist and singer in the Hispanic culture. A lot of people love her and her music. And on the top, I had put Si Se Puede because it's an inspirational thing. It translates in English to yes, it is possible, or yes, we can. Cesar Chavez, that was his favorite saying when it came to fighting against the strikes and boycotts that he had organized. It was a famous saying of his, and that is why I chose to do this beautiful drawing. It took a lot of work and effort, and that is my project.
Hi, my name is Gustavo Lopez, and I'm a proud Mexican American. My parents immigrated here. They were young and had a lack of education. My mother finished high school but never had an opportunity to go to college. On the other hand, my father never even finished elementary school and had to work as a child to put food on the table. My parents moved to the United States for their family. They didn't want us to go through the same obstacles as them. They wanted us to be educated and live a happy life. Many of our parents went through the same struggle, so we should pursue education for our family and ancestors. They had to work to get where we are today, and it's thanks to them we can live in better living conditions as them. So when I graduate college, I will come back to our community and help any way possible. They are the ones that helped me get here in the first place. So many Latinas and Latinos have helped us just by going to school. Some examples are Guillermo Gomez Peña, Oso Salazar Cal, and many more. Our future is dependent on strong, willing students who will help communities and build our nations as one. We need to be one.
Hola, soy Stacy Lassiter, representing Cass Technical High School. This is my entry into the Hispanic Heritage Month competition. What I am presenting to you right now is a drawing/collage. This drawing/collage is related to the theme because it related to the theme, which is being proud of your past and embracing your future. This relates to that theme because on the left-hand side, which are the all black and white pictures, they're showing the past. This topic, the past, relates to the topics that we have been learning in class because it's showing the Mexican repatriation, it's showing when the Mexicans first came into the world and how Spanish was the first spoken language in America. It shows how even though they were being discriminated, they still stood up and became independent. And it also shows how they were involved in the Mexican Independence War. It also shows when they were striking back from discrimination and were becoming more accepted into America. The middle is representing the present, which is dealing with immigration laws. And it's very inspiring because even though they've been fighting for so long, they're still fighting. And it's very inspiring to see how they are still not giving up, which is very important. And it's just very inspiring to see how they're still fighting for their equal rights. The right-hand side is the future of how I hope to see it. The future is related to the topics that we have learned in class because the future is representing diversity. And for diversity, I see cultures being more accepted. So it relates to the topics that we have been learning in class because it shows the culture in Hispanic heritage, which is very inspiring to me because when I first started learning Spanish, I really was shocked at how related we are, and it made me want to learn Spanish even more, and it made me want to become more fluent into Spanish, which I am trying very hard. The girl that I have drawn, she is a Hispanic American, and I drew with the black, it's representing her hair, and I drew that because it's showing all the culture and all the history that her bloodline have been through, which is very inspiring, and that's the image that I got when I thought of this project. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Hola, mi nombre es Janicy Ferrer González. Estoy en 5º grado y mi maestra es Miss Hart. Mi proyecto se llama Puerto Rico. Yo soy nativa de Puerto Rico. En Puerto Rico se come arroz con gandules, lechón y pasteles. En Puerto Rico se baila merengue, salsa y reggaetón. Puerto Rico es una de las islas que pertenece a las Antillas Mayores. Se localiza entre el Mar Caribe y el Océano Atlántico, al este de la República Dominicana. En Puerto Rico hay muchas playas. La isla de Puerto Rico fue descubierta en 1493 en el segundo viaje de Cristóbal Colón a América. Colón la bautizó con el nombre de San Juan Bautista y la ciudad con el nombre Puerto Rico. Este fue mi proyecto.
My name is Sydney Jones, and this is my essay for Hispanic Heritage Month. National Hispanic Heritage Month is a celebratory period from September 15th to October 15th in the United States. Originally a week, then extended to a month by Ronald Reagan, this month recognizes the positive contributions and influence of Hispanic Americans to the history, culture, society, and achievements of the U.S. The day, September 15th, is significant because it is the anniversary of independence for Latin American countries, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. In addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their independence days on September 16th and September 18th. In the United States, Hispanic people are the largest minority group and has the fastest growing youth population. Only Mexico has a larger Hispanic population. As a result, it is easy to see how the U.S. has been influenced and enriched by Hispanic culture. The most acknowledged impact of the culture is food. With specific but various meals and flavor, Hispanic cuisine is pivotal to American culture. There is always a restaurant near that serves Latino food, whether it's authentic or imitated. Another influence that is crucial for representation of Latino people in America is the media, specifically musicians, actors, and actresses, and artists. Through art and music, Latino culture is received by other senses like sight and sound. There are so many aspects of this rich culture that can be discovered through art and music. There is a feeling of pride and strength that shines through and has influenced many others. Another reason to celebrate this month is for all the scientists, people in the military, and people who have fought and still fight for civil rights and fairness in the Hispanic community. These people are the people who impact the future of this country and should be recognized and celebrated. I live in Detroit, and it is not hard to see the contributions of the Latino community and why they should be celebrated. In Southwest Detroit, you can almost feel the Hispanic culture. With the architecture, restaurants, music, people, and art, it is like there's always a celebration. The murals and parades and mariachi are prevalent, and the sense of pride is unmatched. I hope this inspired you to research how America has been enriched and celebrate the community who was a part of that during this Hispanic Heritage Month.
The Genesis, the beginning. We all thought the first were Blancas. Little did we know it was the one sitting right in front of us. Be proud of your past and focus on the future. Southwest Detroit, where many of them live, but in hard times, they still seem to give. Art painted all around, the culture seems to just fill the town. From murals, music, and food everywhere, Mexican Town will never lose because there are people who care. Be proud of your past and focus on your future. Bring the culture which is here to stay. Celebrate Hispanics not just today, but every day. One place that is right off of 2nd, which is filled with the culture and never second. Go to learn about the history of Hispanics.
proud of your past, embrace the future. Being proud of your past and embracing the future does not come easy for everyone. And while I am not a Hispanic or a Latina, I understand that in this current climate, many Hispanics are not ready to fully embrace what the future has in store for them. In addition, many Hispanics do not know a lot about their past. They do not understand how important they are in American society. They do not understand that while their past was full of blood and tears, they have and will continue to triumph. They do not understand how important and beautiful their cultura and tradiciones are. And finalmente, they don't understand that they should be proud of their past because it is a part of their identidad. Hispanics should be proud of their past because they have overcome numerous struggles and obstáculos. Before the arrival of British settlers, the Spanish were among the first Europeans to explore the New World and the first to settle in what is now the United States. Spanish conquistadors and priests came here with the goal to spread Catholicism and to search for gold. During that time, many Hispanics had a difficult time figuring out and embracing their identidad. In what was then Mexico's California and Texas, many Hispanics struggled with their Mexican and their individual state's identidad. And with the arrival of Anglo-Americans and the Mexican-American War that took half of Mexico's territory, Hispanics would soon be second-class citizens in a land that was once theirs. The Mexican elites in California lost their status. The lands of Hispanics were forcefully taken away. There was discrimination and racial violence. Their ranches were burned down, and they were even lynched. During that time, the only place to preserve their cultura and status was in New Mexico. The struggles of Hispanics continued as immigrants from Latin countries moved to the U.S. Many immigrants from Cuba and Mexico immigrated for better opportunities and to escape the chaos and violence in their home country. When the U.S. seized Puerto Rico and gave it limited rights, many Puerto Ricans moved to the U.S. for a better vida, but with also a dream to one day come back to their own land. Many of these immigrants followed a grueling journey in a new land with new traditions, new languages, and a new culture. However, they eventually found jobs and built their own communities in New York, Los Angeles, and etc. But with the rise of the Depression, many Hispanics were deported and stripped of their jobs because with the limited jobs during the Depression, those jobs would rather be given to an American than a Hispanic. Even though Hispanics have gone through a lot of struggles, they have impacted the U.S. in a positive way with their contributions in all aspects of American society. They have contribuciones en comida, música, deportes, belleza, ropa, arte, arquitectura, televisión, política y tecnología. Por ejemplo, many Hispanics like Bernardo de Galvez have fought in the American Revolution. Hispanic scientists like Carlos Juan Finley have contributed to the research of diseases like yellow fever. Franklin Chang Diaz contributed to a successful NASA mission and was the first Hispanic astronaut. Sonia Sotomayor is the first Latina member of the Supreme Court and fights for justice every day. Hispanics like Rita Moreno have won Emmys, Grammys, Oscars, and Tonys for their acting. Hispanics like Selena Quintanilla Perez have greatly affected the music and beauty industry. There are also Hispanics in the deportes industry, like Miguel Cabrera, who plays for the Detroit Tigers. Hispanics haven't just greatly impacted the U.S. as a whole, but also individual cities like Detroit. In especially Southwest Detroit, Hispanics have transformed the city by bringing their culture and traditions. In Southwest Detroit, there are taquerias, supermercados, estéticas, barrios, restaurantes tradicionales con comidas tradicionales such as Dominican, Mexican, Salvadoran restaurants, helados, panaderías, and many murales. Freddy Diaz, a muralist in Detroit, has transformed the city with murals that express Hispanic cultura. There are also Hispanic businesses in Southwest Detroit that help with the local economy. Hispanics also bring colores and fiestas to Detroit when there are celebraciones like Cinco de Mayo or Day of the Dead or Navidad. Hispanics also fill Detroit with the wonderful smells of comidas like churros, tamales, fajitas, and much more. Hispanics have a lot to be proud of. There's a whole entire Hispanic Heritage Month dedicated to their contribuciones, cultura, tradiciones, comida, and much more. We understand that even in today's society, Hispanics still have to face a lot of struggles and obstacles like discrimination, racial violence, deportation, and etc. However, I believe that Hispanics should embrace their prideful past full of contributions and an amazing cultura and embrace a future with more contributions and happiness to come.
The lives of the Latinos. There have been numerous occasions where Latinos have been discriminated against, hated on, and abused of their freedom. They face hostility in a lot of places, but none of that compares to when they arrived in the United States. Latinos came to the United States for a new and better life. They never expected a path of darkness to come upon them. The first incident I can think of was in 1848 during the Mexican-American War, where the United States took over half of Mexico's territory. Mexicans and Mexican Americans started to get treated as second-class citizens, facing discrimination and racial violence after that. Even so, they wouldn't let that stop them. So to preserve their Hispanic culture, they tried to transform themselves through education in the midst of this terrible era they were facing. Another incident that came upon them happened around 1898. People from Spanish-speaking countries such as Cuba and Puerto Rico started to flee their countries to come to the United States due to uncontrollable chaos and violence. They chose to come to the United States because they were fascinated and attracted by the many opportunities they could have there. Around the 1920s, they started to build bigger communities within the U.S., and immigration was more encouraged and expanded the U.S. economy. Although that didn't last long. Around the 1930s, immigrants and even Spanish U.S. citizens were being deported back to their countries. What a big twist, right? The aftermath of that resulted in angry citizens such as the Puerto Ricans to rebel against the U.S. government, gaining Commonwealth. Now, let's talk about the World War II. This event was a huge turning point for the Latinos. Hundreds of thousands of Latino men and women serving in the armed forces fought in the war mostly alongside the Anglos, only to be discriminated against afterwards. For example, after the war, Macario Garcia became the first Mexican national to earn the Congressional Medal of Honor for his exploit fighting in Europe, only to be refused service in a Texas diner. After everything, all the experience the Latinos faced during and after the war pushed them to fight for their civil rights back home. Even with all this despair, there still has been many contributions from Latinos and even non-Latinos, and a lot of ways have been created to spread the Hispanic cultures and to bring peace upon them. Some non-Latino contributions include Ronald Reagan and Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson was the 36th president of the United States, and he had created Hispanic Heritage Week into a law that was celebrated until Ronald Reagan became president later on. Ronald Reagan was an American politician who served as the 40th president of the United States from 1981 to 1989. He expanded the Hispanic Heritage Week and created the National Hispanic Heritage Month that is now celebrated every year by Spanish-speaking and even non-Spanish-speaking people. It helps bring together everyone to celebrate and recognize the contributions and influence of Hispanic Americans to the history, culture, and achievements of the United States. Now, some Latino contributions include Sonia Sotomayor and Raymond L. Tells. Sonia Sotomayor was the first Hispanic to be approved by Barack Obama and appointed to the Supreme Court. She became the first Puerto Rican woman to serve as a judge in the U.S. federal court. Raymond L. Tells, on the other hand, was the first Hispanic to be appointed as an ambassador and worked in the U.S. Department of Justice. He was also the first American mayor of a major American city, El Paso, located in Texas. Now, those were some really big achievements and contributions made by those people, but to end everything off, I would like to talk about the major influence of Hispanic culture located in my home state, Michigan. In southwest Detroit, a city located in Michigan, there is a big community that welcomes Latinos and the Hispanic culture around the world. There's an enormous amount of buildings and murals dedicated to the Hispanic community. For decades, Southwest Detroit has become this place where immigrants seek jobs and lifestyles that would help them provide for their families. Everyone feels respected there and feels so comfortable in the amazing community that has been made there. I believe that they can find themselves within this community and live the better life they've been searching for. I love all the contributions that Latinos have done for the United States, and I'm happy to see that the culture is still being influenced out there. I look forward to more things like this to be spread around the world. For now, that is how the lives of Latinos have been for the many years that have been passed.
My name is Yahya Malik, and my project is called Beauty of the Past. The name of my poem is Celebration of Freedom. The darkest nights have passed, for they have suffered plenty, chasing the light for a better future, bringing with them their beautiful culture. Oppressed in the land of the free, where they were captured and beat, the American dream is a lie that they were forced to believe. They came for a better education, they came for a better home, they came for a better life, but aren't granted any rights. Mistreated and abused, his people had no choice. Then rose Cesar Chavez, that became their voice. He marched and marched till his feet went numb. He screamed and screamed till his freedom was won. The future is brighter than ever, filled with love for one's roots. This new generation is proud, this new generation is strong. Dolores Huerta left a legacy, fought for the rights of farm workers, fought for the rights of all Mexicans. She was a true hero that has forever left her mark. My poem basically summarized the struggles of Mexicans in America and how we had two great civil rights activists that stood up for their people. We also talked about how because of the past, the future is stronger than ever, and this new generation has a better understanding of their identity and what they need to do to secure for a better future that the next generation could call home.